Bitcoin is doing something huge right now. It absolutely mustn't be ignored, and I need to break it down for you because we could be staring down the barrel of another huge dump just given what's happening right now. I want to break all of this down for you. Bitcoin has, of course, continued to tumble lower from its high that it set within the $48,000 range, and I actually think this chart makes a lot more sense if we look at Ethereum because it hit its crucial area of resistance, which for me was at 3,600. And so, naturally, whenever Ethereum is going to have a big downturn, usually that's going to, coincide with Bitcoin. They just move together. And so sometimes what I like to do, and I've been doing this a lot lately, you guys have noticed if you've been subscribed, is I like to look at Ethereum to get a reading on Bitcoin, right? It's just sometimes, not all the time, most of the time, no, but sometimes it's easier to read. And I have found that to be the case right here. It's actually moved really well. I closed my whole position, for those of you who don't know, I closed my whole position up in a beautiful 200% profit. I was taking profits all the way up. I entered down here. I know you can't see the price, but that's at $2,829, and I managed to rise it up to 2.9, 3K, 3.1, 3.2, and so on, up until basically the peak, which is where I closed 197% and a 201% profit on what was remaining in my position, which was absolutely fantastic, taking profits on the way up as well. We've seen some very impressive results inside of VIP surrounding this, and if you do want to jump inside, it's more than 50% off right now. You're getting a huge discount, more than half price off, so definitely take advantage of it if you're interested by following these steps on screen. I'm going to come back to this in a little bit as well. I also want to show you a few of the testimonials we received, although I don't have it right here. Some very cool little profits here from VIP members of varying account sizes and so on. But let's just get straight to the video for now. Yeah, we are seeing quite a dump, and these dumps are coming into very important areas, right? Ethereum right here on this chart, I mentioned its key support is going to be at the $3,200 area. I was talking about this extensively in the VIP breakdown video I made, which, by the way, that's a 52-minute video. That's the longest VIP breakdown video I've ever made, where I broke down a trade and I spent 52 minutes talking about it. No ads, obviously, because I'm not trying to sell anything in VIP. So that's a lot of content. Very cool indeed. Bitcoin, I can't say the same though, and this is kind of what I find concerning. This is almost what feeds into the title, because we're at a point right now where, like, if Bitcoin doesn't manage to turn this around right now, there's going to be a lot of trouble for this market, I think, and we could be looking at just a huge, just cascading sell-off into the crypto abyss, to quote Crypto Kirby. A lot of the dump has actually happened like now over the past 4 hours, and so our fear and greed index hasn't yet had a chance to update. These fucking ads coming in again, honestly unbelievable. I don't know where they're getting this from, but yeah, the fear and greed index still not dropping down by too much. I think today we will see some people starting to get scared, and I think the other thing to keep in mind, right, is that a lot of people that have entered long positions since this breakout happened, right? Because most people, don't forget, most people are entering long positions at the top, right? People become the most bullish at the top and the most bearish at the bottom, which is obviously the exact wrong place to be. And that's why you need to be very careful when you're in this game, because you'll think you're right. And that's almost what plays on you. So you really need to know your shit before you start trading. Otherwise, my God, you're gonna have a bad time. And so what I think could happen here as a function of that is, a lot of the people that would have taken up their long positions up there, well, how do you close a position where you've bought Bitcoin? Going long means buying Bitcoin, right? So if you bought Bitcoin, the only way to close that position is by selling that Bitcoin. So naturally, as these longs are underwater, and they've been underwater for a while, not only with time, right, because it has been a solid week, more than that now, we're up to 8.5 days since we've been trending lower. We've also dropped by a solid percentage amount. If you're using your smallest leverage option, which is 2x, you're still in a minimum loss right now of about in a maximum loss right now of about 18%. Which is huge. It's very big, and if you dial this up with higher numbers, I mean, what if you're using 5 times leverage and you entered at the top, or maybe not even at the top, maybe right here, close to the top but not quite there? You're still down by minus 25%. These are positions where people are going to be looking to cut their losses relatively soon if the market keeps dropping lower, and that could bring a lot more sell side liquidity into the market. That could mean that we end up I mean, the market has to be able to absorb those sell orders. But guess what, guys? If we're getting reminded of what a bear market feels like, because we've been in one, and I've been warning you guys that we didn't quite get out of it. We didn't quite break all of those signs yet, all of those shackles yet. I'm going to be more positive in a minute. Bear with me. My job here is to analyze both sides. I know some of you are starting to get really upset. If they forgot what a bear market feels like here, people might be starting to remember now. And that is something to keep in mind, because that can result in people panicking, panic selling, whatever the case may be. And I just want to make sure that you guys are very, very well aware of that, because if you're not, and something like this takes you by surprise, you're in trouble. You are in a lot of trouble. But look, it's not that bad yet. I really don't think so. And one of the key reasons for that is, if I take you onto this chart, no, not this chart, where I have my green box, I've outlined for you what the support area looks like. And I suppose, to be more accurate, I should actually mention that this area, to me, kind of stretches all the way down to $40,000. It's quite far away from here. I wouldn't like to see the price dropping down that low, but bear in mind that we do still have this ascending triangle support line. I suppose what's a problem is that within this ascending triangle, you see the two things we need to make an ascending triangle is resistance, bam, right here, and support, bam, right here. Now, naturally, when you flip above resistance, you want to see that resistance turning into support. It did act as support once, but will it act as support a second time? Now look, I don't think this level is the strongest support area in the world. It definitely was a strong area of resistance if we look at what was happening over the last couple of months since the beginning of this year. However, I wouldn't want to put so much faith in it like it's going to be able to pull off something like that. I mean, honestly, one attempt, super healthy. It was actually a very, very good sign, and it was how I knew that Ethereum would keep rising up, and that's why I held fire on closing the rest of that Ethereum position that I mentioned until we saw another leg up, because it was pretty clear that that was coming. But guys, I mean, the second time this thing peaked, those signs of the market topping out were there. The signs were there. I spoke about it a little bit on this public YouTube channel, and I spoke about it in a lot more depth in the VIP video that I made. Again, just so you guys know, whenever I make a trade, when it's a big trade where a lot of moving elements have happened, and I know that you guys can learn a lot from it, I make really in-depth VIP breakdown videos where I'm telling you absolutely everything that was happening at every single stage, all the emotions, all the nitty-gritty, vulnerable details, things that honestly, like, I'm not totally comfortable talking about. But fuck me, like, trading's a difficult game, right? There's going to be aspects of it. You hear it all inside of there. And of course, more than half price off. I just want to remind you guys as well, those of you who take our yearly package, you're getting phone calls with me as well, which have been very, very useful for our yearly members. And every single package right now, you're going to get some extra free time as well. So you're getting more for a lot less. And the yearly package, you actually get up to 2 months. You get 2 months free. So you pay for a year, you get 14 months and phone calls with me and free access into our Advanced Academy course, which costs about $2,700. Big deal there. Reach out by following these steps on screen, clicking the first link in the description down below, then the @4flies button at the bottom of any post inside of 4flies Gold. This first link will take you here, and then click on send message. This is a very quick process. These 3 quick clicks will take you less than 30 seconds. No signups, no downloads, very, very straightforward. So just follow these steps on screen. You'll be able to join VIP. It takes you into a direct chat with me, so you can ask me anything you like, and so on. But yeah, this area as support is quite important. And you know what? What I find a little bit concerning is that we have already penetrated it quite deep. We're in a pattern which is just very synonymous with continuing to fall lower. It's almost, I mean, here's the thing. It almost makes it slightly difficult. But, generally when we have this kind of price action, we're trending up like this. If we fall down relatively quickly, that's okay. And I'll show you what's okay is it's like kind of something like this is fine. But if we take a final, like, the dump actually intensifies, something like this, which is this is the character trait we have right now, then, I mean, anything previous to this, and you'd be like, okay, this is just a typical falling wedge before the market continues up. And we've seen these patterns all over Google before. I mean, this is the standard, staircase pattern that you see. But, if it takes a turn for the worse, and you can see that energy kind of pushing it in that direction, Well, it's I just don't see stuff like that happening a lot as often. You know, I mean, usually it's a more clean, predictable pattern. It's really only something that catches out the new people. But yeah, as you can see from here, I mean, the dump really speeds up over here a little bit, and I mean, it's treading on thin ice right now. I mean, if we take a look at this chart right here, I actually drew the channel out on the 1 hour time frame. This was actually courtesy of a very, very good friend of mine who is also a technical analyst. He pointed this out to me. And yeah, it ended up, I mean, you know, it's faked out a few times before to the downside and to the upside, but we're back below it, and it's just not a good place to be below a pattern like this, in my opinion. The good news for Bitcoin, though, from what I'm seeing, is that if we really do zoom out, this whole band is an area of support, and I do see Bitcoin being able to use it. If we look at other time frames with the Ichimoku cloud, for example, we're bang in that support right now. I mean, we are in it right now, using it with the daily EMA ribbon, which I've been talking about quite a bit. We are in this support range right now, so I don't want to be getting bearish yet. The purpose of the beginning of this video is just to explore that side, because I don't want to lose touch with it either. No matter how high or how healthy the price looks, I always want to maintain perspective and remind myself that side exists, because one day they're going to be the winners too. You need to know when to jump ship. I'm still not jumping ship. No chance. I think we have a very good chance of actually recovering at the moment. I think we're more likely to recover, just given that we've got these support areas. But guess what, guys? These support areas, they're not going to last forever. The EMA ribbon only stretches down to the $43,000 area. That means we can dump by a further $1,200, and that's it. We're out of the daily EMA ribbon. We lose this daily EMA ribbon support, that's going to be another sign gone. You see, the thing is right now, and I've said this in the previous video, so shout out to those of you who are subscribed, who are engaging with these videos and hitting up the like buttons. I appreciate you all so much. I was saying that being bullish and bearish is almost like a scale, right? And on this side you've got being bullish, and on this side you've got a market that's bearish, and you just gradually move in this direction in increments, right? One thing to set it off could be losing EMA support, and then you lose Ichimoku support, and then you lose horizontal support, and then you break market structure, and there's all sorts of different things that push you towards the bearish side, and then it happens in reverse. Sometimes you just jump overnight, right? That happens as well. It's Bitcoin at the end of the day, right? It's one of the most irrational, most volatile asset classes in the world is cryptocurrency, right? So obviously it can flip overnight as well, but generally you don't want to be banking on that, because it doesn't always happen. And so if we look at things like these indicators, again with the 4 hour time frame, the support stretches down to 42.8, right? Like, we can't keep dropping forever. That's the point. And I guess the other point there is that if this thing does continue to drop, it's gotta capture support soon. It doesn't have a lot of time. It's really testing it right now, which is fine. It's totally fine for it to do that. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not worried too much anyway. There's some underlying concern, but really it's not too bad. So from that perspective, actually, I'm pretty happy with it. It does still have support. It needs to bounce quickly. That's the thing. But I don't have many real reasons to believe it won't, just for the moment. Just considering that, I mean, we still have those lines of defenses, and obviously it's going to look the most bearish if we start seeing things like the fear and greed index, dropping down to shit. If it drops down to, say, 35 or lower, that's going to be quite clearly back in fearful territory. That would be where I start to pay a little bit more attention to, what might be happening in terms of, recovering back up. But if instead we see that sentiment stays relatively stable around neutral levels, well, maybe we do need a bit of a shakeout then. You know what I mean? Like, it really depends on how I feel like my analysis will depend on how I'm interpreting the sentiment and the overall kind of well-being of traders in the market. Generally, the worse it is, the more I'm going to be interested in, okay, a lot of people are about to get screwed right now. They're probably going to get screwed because it's going to do the opposite of what they think would happen. So let's talk about the worst case. I think this is important. I don't like to do it. I would rather be in long positions right now. I just closed out a phenomenal long. Trust me, I would love to be in more. But again, my job here is not to live in fairy tale land. My job is to make cash, and that requires critical thinking, challenging myself. If you don't like that, you already know the deal. This channel is not for you. Get the fuck off. Just keep it to the people with sensible practices, people who respect their money, who realize that this is not going to be easy, and that they need to challenge themselves constantly. That's the viewership I want on this channel. That's what we bring, you know, when the videos are like this. So if Bitcoin loses its support levels, and we first need to define what they are. I'm looking primarily at around over here. I don't want to use this chart. Let me use this one here. I'm looking primarily at, you know, 43 we've identified as one crucial area. 42 for me would probably be the last one. Like I said, it does stretch all the way down to 40, but I mean, at what point do you decide to just say, yeah, this thing is dropping? You know what I mean? Like, it has to drop a whole, you know, 10% to hit the 40k area. You know, I mean, that's a huge move. So even these moves, 5% nearly, it has to drop down to in order to reach 42. Like that's a lot of time. That's a lot of movement in the market. I'm gonna use these two levels as my, you know, kind of key final support, and mainly just the first line, to be honest. If we drop below these levels, like I said, I think that fear could set into the market very quickly. And I certainly think that if we lost 43, the probability of hitting 40, you know, right now, probability of hitting 40, if I had to say, was probably, I would say it's probably like 20%. If we lost 43, I would put that probability at 65%. And if we lost 42, I would put that probability at like 95%. You know, and that's kind of how I feel like these probabilities scale, and very rough numbers, but at least you'll understand the idea of what I'm going for here. I do believe that, you know, that could lead to quite significant dumps. I mean, from 43 down to 40, that's a further 7% drop. The problem then becomes we're going to be challenging this area after we've had a fake out, and you know, if you've had a fake out to the upside, and such a strong one at that, that's going to bring a lot of fear and anxiety to the market if we end up hitting support levels like this, and I'm not sure if those support levels would be able to hold. Additionally, if we look at the Ichimoku cloud at that point, you know, I mean, that's really going to prove to us that this Ichimoku cloud, this 200-day moving average, you know, which are significant things that I was warning you guys to pay attention to. You know, I mean, these could turn out to be you know, major problems for the market, and you know, if we do end up falling completely out of a one-day Ichimoku cloud like this, my god, I mean, usually, you know, we don't fall out a little bit and then recover. You know, usually it's a horrible sell-off that ends up following through if we penetrate a cloud this much and then still fall out of it, you know, and that would be quite upsetting. And so I would actually be looking, if we failed this area, I'm not seeing any more support until 37, 38 maybe, but I don't like that area of support anymore. I feel like we've tested it too much. I don't think that would hold. You know, then we're looking at the low to mid 30s, but again, I don't think these areas would hold. I don't think they're strong enough, especially considering all the selling momentum that would come in. So I would actually be looking at the very low 30k area, 31, 30,000, maybe even 29, 28. You know, around this range, I would expect to see Bitcoin, and you know, I mean, it's hard to say from there. I would have to see if Bitcoin even reaches there. There's a lot of ifs that need to happen in order for this storyline to become reality, and I'd need to watch, you know, how they're colored in, right? I mean, we move in that direction, okay, but how do we move in that direction? Are we moving in that direction quickly or slowly, with aggression or not with aggression, and so on? And these kind of things will help me gauge if we'll continue dropping lower. And by the way, just while I'm talking on that note, that's why I'm a short-term analyst. You see, the longer-term analysis you carry out, the more you have to answer if statements, if questions, you know, because if you're trying to talk about Bitcoin getting to 60k, I mean, a lot of resistance levels need to be broken in between. A lot of support levels probably need to be tested. It's really hard to say that, you know, I mean, as a general direction, yes, of course, you can, you know, you should have a long-term outlook, but for trading, I just don't understand how people can, I don't really even see it happening. You know, and the problem with longer term analysis and trading is that if you're wrong, you don't find out until like 6 months later. And someone like me, in between that 6 month time frame, I'm gonna have a lot more opportunities to make money than the guy who is potentially wrong. And I've seen this playing out over the years. That's why I have this approach. that's why for me that Ethereum trade was so important, picking such a stellar entry point and such an amazing exit point as well. Obviously, you know, this chart doesn't look the same anymore because Ethereum has indeed sold off. And one of the key things I said in the VIP video when I announced, in the breakdown video, when I broke down every single move I made. And by the way, relating to this trade, this Ethereum trade, I actually made like 11 adjustments in total over a 2-week period. And so, you know, those are kind of like the real-time updates that I share with VIP members. I was telling them exactly what I was thinking at every step of the process. And you know, you can see where I took profits right there. I mean, just quite beautiful how that sell-off happened. You know, this is gonna happen at resistance levels. It's this is what happens at resistance levels. People really struggle to see that. Not only was the USD chart at resistance, but the Bitcoin chart was also at resistance. All of this was broken down. This is all what happened in the past. But I mean, I've been around and I've actually been running VIP in some form or another for like 4 years now. Something like definitely longer than 3 years. You know, we've been around for a really long time. Definitely have been around the block, so to speak, with myself and my team. Our analyst has been with us pretty much since the very beginning as well, our lead analyst. So you know, if you do want to jump inside and see how we're going to continue to tackle these markets, then like I said, you're getting more than half price off right now. It's a limited time offer, so reach out, find out what you've been missing out on, what the prices are. The prices have changed, of course, so you are getting phenomenal prices. And like I said, every single plan is getting more time for free as well, up to 2 months. So hell of an offer going on right now. We've never actually done something like that, so definitely check it out if you are interested. Of course, if you want to trade on the very same platform that I'm using, Bybit is my absolute favorite. I've been using them for years as well, and I absolutely love it. I found it to be the most secure, stable, safe exchange that I have ever used. It's also got great liquidity. It's just a phenomenal exchange to be on. If you're not already on it, you can sign up using my link, and you're going to get some free cash deposited into your account as a thank you for using my sign up link in the description down below. So you get some free money in order to try out what I deem to be what I feel is my favorite exchange. I don't know if that's a big deal to you, but obviously it is to me. So definitely check it out if you want that free cash. And bottom line, you know, one thing I always like to say is that you know, you don't want to have your eggs all in one basket. You know, you don't want to be only on one exchange. You don't want to be only on one account. You want to have multiple accounts with multiple exchanges. You want to have your funds spread out. Maybe an exchange has downtime one day, maybe it gets hacked another day. At least if your eggs are spread out, your funds are safer. Very important principle in my opinion, and that I think is something that has helped a lot of people. You get NFTs, all sorts of markets. Everything that I trade only happens on here. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, so it's all linked down below. Of course, depending on where you are, you will need a VPN. I also just want to take a minute to run through some of these testimonials with you. I mean, I don't think this was this was relatively recent. This is one of the ones I was showing you recently. Just some really nice collections of profits. It's not actually in great resolution, but you can make out some of the numbers here. That's a $10,000 profit with 54% with a 54% gain, $6,000 profit with a 41% gain. This member actually took our yearly subscription and paid it off within less than a day after joining. Very impressive results right here. Just another couple you know, relatively boring comparatively screenshots, but still very impressive gains right there. Look at that. You know, not even with crazy money, right? Again, this is something that I want to point out. I mean, obviously this person had a bit of a bankroll to be playing with, because not only did this person take up our yearly subscription, but also you know, made a lot of money. But then you've also got other people that, you know, just aren't at that level yet, and that's totally fine. They're still learning a lot, they're still benefiting a lot. You know, and in a market like this with this volatility, this is where all the opportunities are going down. Some of the Hall of Fame trades that I've made over these last couple of years, you know, trades like this, they don't come super often, a couple times a year ideally. So you know, obviously that's always what I'm looking to hit when I am trading. If it's possible, I'll try and hit it. Obviously I've registered losses in those periods. I shouldn't have to say it, it's pretty obvious, but I just want to be abundantly clear, just in case someone is already trying to misquote me. Fortunately, you know that I don't entertain things like that very well. But yeah, definitely a very cool setup. So if you do want to jump inside, see what we've been working on, we've transformed many traders, created many more traders. I'm proud of it. So if you want to take advantage of it, now's your time with that massive sale. With that, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been able to ground you a little bit, shown you both sides of the equation. I still think we're bullish. As long as we find support, I'm seeing this thing flying up towards the 50k level as well for Bitcoin. Again for Bitcoin. Ethereum, I'd be looking at $4,000. I'm still bullish. It's just that we need to see these support areas hold. Depending on how this evolves, I might actually decide to enter a long position on either Ethereum or Bitcoin. Probably Bitcoin. Actually, I'm not sure. Probably Ethereum, because the support is a little bit more well defined for Ethereum. With Bitcoin, I've mentioned it's kind of 42, 40, 41, 43. It's a mess. With Ethereum, it's a lot more obvious. So that might actually be the one to trade. Just because I want my life to be easy, and I understand both markets very well. So there you go. Hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell. Check out VIP for that discount. More than 50% off. Free time as well on top of that. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.